Alvo of Limbag Kamay. We are very honored this afternoon to have the Ortigas Foundation and Library represented. And they will be talking to us about conservation and preventive conservation of our prints as well as books and other works on paper. Joining us this afternoon is Mr. Loreto Apilado and Mr. Mar Alcantara, who are conservators at the Ortigas Foundation and Library. We are also very excited because it's the first time they're showing with us, and the Ortigas Foundation has moved from the Ortigas building now to the McKinley building, which is in Green Hills. So this is the first time we're going to see any part of the new Ortigas Foundation and Library, and it is our honor to bring that to you here through Limbag Kamay. Magandang hapon po, Sir Loreto. Magandang hapon po, Sir Mar. Baka ho gusto yung bumati muna.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo, Ricky, saka sa mga sa viewers natin ngayon.
Salamat po. We will show their video first para makita nating lahat ang bagong Ortigas Foundation and Library sa Green Hills. After the video, mag-uusap-usap tayo, magkakaroon tayo ng open question and answer portion para po yung mga katanungan nyo ay mabigyang linaw. So, go ahead, feel free to put the video on now. Thank you.
Hi, I'm John Silva. I'm the Executive Director of the Ortigas Library. And today we wanted to show you what our conservation lab is and does. Every library, I think, of worth has a conservation laboratory. We have collected over 24,000 volumes of Filipiniana, and the corresponding relationship to those books and maps and prints, etc., is that we take good care of them. So in any given year, our conservation lab reviews our collection, finds those that seem to be needing cleaning and the like. More recently, though, I find that there is a opportunity for us to gain income from having the conservation lab open to private individuals who would like to have their collections taken care of, cleaned and restored, which we can do. And so that's been very helpful to us as a nonprofit library. I'd like you to just see what we do with just one element, which is how to take care of books, restore and clean them from a series of small videos that we have for you. So after that, there's going to be a question and answer section with Mar Alcantara and Mr. Loreto Apilado, who will answer your questions on conservation. Thank you very much, and if you have any conservation needs, let us know. Thank you.
Hello everyone! Welcome to our first video on the book restoration series. This first part is the assessment of the book. For this segment, the example we are using is the book entitled Cornejo's Pre-War Encyclopedic Directory of the Philippines, History and Government by Attorney Miguel Cornejo, published in 1939. As you can see, the binding is already in poor condition, and the original spine was entirely damaged. The titles of books are normally found on the spines. The previous owner of this book put book cloth to support the binding and to keep the pages from falling apart. As you can see, the book is very thick. The cover is still intact. However, obvious flaws can be seen, and there are various aspects of the book that need repair and restoration. The book already has loose pages. It is not advisable to bind very thick and large books such as this one, as it is difficult to handle, and the text block may be damaged. This is the text block. This can be easily damaged, especially if not sewn properly. So far, the overall binding is intact except for the first few pages. Its inside front cover shows tears, and the fly leaf is totally detached. The cord support is also loose. Our project now is to unbind, rebind, and then recase the book as requested by the owner. Recasing will be done by changing the cover. We will then use the same text style and, as much as possible, mimic the original text stamping for the title and the spine. We will also put a raised band. This is the embossed part of the spine to retain the original look and feel of the book binding. So the entire book will be unbound, and then the individual folios will be sewn one by one. The process will take more than a month to finish. This book was also exposed to water, thus there are visible water stains and most likely some minimal mold formation. The book also has visible dirt buildups. We will clean this up page by page. If you feel each page, there's a rough and sandy texture from dirt and dust particles. So this is the condition of the book today, and we will be posting further videos of this bookbinding project as we go along with the restoration process. Hello! We're back. This is part 2 of our book restoration series. We are sure that many of our viewers are excited to find out what is going to happen next in our book restoration project. And so are we. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get going! Here is our short recap of what we did last time so everybody can keep up with this video. What we discussed previously was the actual condition of the book, and we pointed out the damage that we need to repair and what was our main goal. Unbinding is a serious process. You don't just simply start unbinding a book unless you understand how it was bound before. First, you have to know the original binding method approach, so you know exactly the proper technique on how to unbind it without harming the folio, or you might be creating more damage than repairing it. The book needs to be laid flat and relaxed to lessen the tension while doing the unbinding process, especially on big books like this one. The unbinding process requires patience and care. One small mistake in removing each folio may cause damage to the book, and we don't want that to happen. In this case, a previous repair was made on the book spine. New book cloth was attached to the text block to hold the weak spine. In this case, a previous repair was made on the book spine. New book cloth was attached to the text block to hold the weak spine. We now carefully undo that repair and closely examine the thread and make sure it is exposed and can be cut carefully to detach each folio. After removing each folio, we arrange it in exactly the same sequence as the way it was bound before. We have to make sure the sequence is the same and there is no mix-up in the pagination, especially for the pages with photos in between the text pages. This process normally takes 1 to 2 days to complete. Welcome back, viewers. This is part 3 of our series on book restoration. Before we proceed, we will give you a short recap of what we presented before. In our first video, we showed you the actual condition of the book. We identified the problems and discussed what our restoration goals were. In our second video, we showed the process of unbinding the book and removing the casing. And now, this video will show you mechanical surface cleaning and guarding of signatures. In bookbinding terminology, a signature, also known as a section or gathering, is a group of sheets folded in half to be worked into a binding as one unit. In this video, we are going to show you how we carefully put Japanese tissue paper or kozo paper along the edge of the spine of every signature. We call this process guarding. We carefully remove the dirt accretions or accumulations by brushing each page using a soft brush, starting from the bottom all the way to the top of the book. We do this process very patiently, especially in thick books like this one. This procedure will help strengthen the fold section of the outer page of the signature. Furthermore, it will help strengthen the previous sewing holes as well. This procedure is what we need the most to achieve a very good binding result, especially for thick books like this one. And this is the outcome after the entire process of surface cleaning and guarding of every signature. As you can see, this is now ready for rebinding. Welcome back to our viewers. This is part 4 of our restoration series. We are done with the assessment, unbinding, surface cleaning, and guarding. Now, let us proceed with patching. Patching is also known as gap filling or infilling. It is the restoration of missing or torn edges. We patched this page with similar colored paper to cover paper loss all around it, lined the full page with Kozo paper, and provided an extension giving enough room for sewing together with the other signatures as well. A small amount of adhesive is applied to the area to be treated. A treated paper will be patched carefully and cut into the required shape to cover the missing sections. This process is done the same way with all the other pages that have paper loss. Here is the segment of the page restoration process. So that will be all for now, and in our next video, we're going to show you the rebinding process of this book by Miguel Cornejo. Hello to all our viewers. This is part 5 of our book restoration series. We are now moving forward to the most important part of our restoration process, the sewing of the book or the bookbinding process. Bookbinding is vital in this book that we are currently working on. Since the book is very thick, we have to make sure that the binding technique that we will be using can withstand its weight, not get loose when it is opened, and finally can adapt to people's handling. First, we prepared the sewing cradle and attached the cords. These cords have two purposes. One, it helps make our binding stronger, and second, which is our purpose for this project, is to create a raised cord to add aesthetic beauty to the book's spine. You will see this as we move forward in casing this book. Before starting the sewing process, we carefully checked that all pagination is in the correct sequence. After checking, we proceed in starting the sewing process. We use paperweights to prevent sudden movement on the signature that we are currently working on. We check and make sure that the binding is perfectly tight, but not too tight, or else it will damage the signature. This process took 3 to 5 working days for this thick book before it was ready for recasing.
Hi, good afternoon again. So that was the video from Ortigas Foundation's Conservation Laboratory. And the video showed us the meticulous, methodical, and efficient process in conserving and restoring a book. The processes are the same for prints. But with us to explain the process further are two conservators from the Ortigas Foundation Conservation Laboratory, Mr. Mar Alcantara, and my good friend, paper conservator, Mr. Loreto Apilado, who also has his own mulberry plantation and grows his own mulberry for Kozo paper. So later, pwede nyo nang tanungin. I already have a few questions. Siguro, Sir Mar, I'll start off with you. I got a question from Miss Susan Claire Agbayani. She is asking, can you give us an estimate of how much it would cost for a conservation of a book like that, the one in the video?
Yeah, that would cost around 18,000 to 25,000, depending on the damage of the book and then the treatment that we're going to consider.
I think that's a very affordable quote because we could all see how much work it takes for a conservator to focus on each page, to remove the
Yes.
dirt on each page, and then to fix everything page per page, and then to put it back together again. So, how long does it usually take for a project like that?
Yeah, it normally takes a month or so, but not more than 2 months, of course.
Wow, that's fast. I swear. For me, that's fast because I know how tedious the work is as well. Sir Loreto, I have a question from Mr. Elmer Borlongan, who's a master artist and also printmaker. He's asking, what adhesive do you use to bind the signatures now?
Uh, in conservation, there are two types of adhesive we use. No, first is the reversible type. We call that the methicellulose paste or MC paste. A substitute of that is starch paste, and then after that, we overpaste it with PBE glue. Yan. That's it.
Mm.
And then
So,
continues na. Because we have to protect the inner, the pages. So when there's something wrong again in the future, it's easy because we use a reversible paste inside. Okay.
I see. So can you explain to us what reversible means? Kasi some of our viewers are first timers. So
Yeah.
ano po ba ang reversible?
You could easily remove again the pages or whatever by moisture or by water. So when you use kasi PBA glue, it's hard to remove now. You even using water or what, it's like it's fixed, it's permanent. So in conservation really is you should if there's something wrong, it's easy to remove again and then start treatment again. So that's the purpose of why we need reversible material.
Agree. Isa po ito sa principles ng conservation kasi ina-acknowledge natin, we acknowledge that our technology today might not be the best technology in the future and they might have a better technology then. So
Yes.
if we have better technologies, they can just remove what we have put today so that in the future they can fix it better than us. Yeah. Ayun.
Yes.
Sir, bagong lipat kayo for the sake of those who just tuned in. Sir Mar, can you tell us where you are, where the Ortigas Foundation Library is?
Yeah, we are now in our new address. We are located in second floor, McKinley Building, along Club Filipino Road. We are above Unimart.
Ayan. So the address is being flashed on screen. Mm-mm.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm I'm thinking of this one is all the time. We are the only library in the belly of the dragon because it's here in Green Hills. It's like a feng shui area. It's a good area though. It's a
Actually,
belly of the dragon.
yeah, it's also a very accessible area for everyone. And I
Yes.
know that
Yes.
your new building has parking. And maayos
Yes.
talaga
A
yung
lot.
location. Yeah. Sir Loreto, we also have artists who are watching us. Maybe you could give us a few
Mm.
pointers on how artists could apply preventive conservation para maging mahaba ang buhay ng artworks nila on paper.
Okay. Uh, this is intended really for artists and mostly in collectors, no? Okay. There are two types of two methods where you could safely keep your artworks. First is the macro enclosure, which is the storage room, your studio, or your home. And then the next one is we call that micro enclosure. This one is the folders, boxes, shelf, drawers. So these drawers, cabinets will be put in the macro storage room or your studio or your home. So this is really important, especially for the collectors and also the artists. While all your artworks should be kept or placed in a acid-free or archival materials like we call that folders or files, big files uh, larger than your artworks, and then put that in maybe uh, one after over the other, but you should put a glassine, and this glassine again is acid free. This is our problem in the Philippines. We could not locate an acid free or supplier of this acid free glassine. We are requesting for our supplier, but until now didn't give us any positive response if they have. This is really our problem. If we have this glassine, it's easy now for our to give collectors and artists this type of storage for micro enclosure. And then next one, after putting that in a folder, you put that now in a boxes naman, box. So this boxes is again archival and acid free. Again, our problem here is the supplier of an acid free board because mostly in the Philippines, it is chipboard, and they are all acidic materials. But there is a substitute, but it's very expensive. The mat board, and this is very expensive because we have to very thin, so we have to put we space one of the that until the right thickness. So how many mat board were used? So this is another problem. But the other materials like the lining paper is available in the Philippines, like the tugboard, the other lining materials. And then after that boxes, put that again to another uh, storage storage furnitures. This now naman is cabinets or shelf. So yung medyo may kaya is they could provide their own drawer cabinet, yung parang sliding drawer. That's a little bit expensive, no? Kasi yun nga, special thing yun. Mahirap din magpagawa dito sa Pilipinas because it's not also available yung lalo na yung mga steel cabinet na drawer na malalaki. So the substitute now is we are making our own shelf using yung mga ginagamit sa mga storage room, yung mga tawag noon, yung mga the angle bars, and then put some plywood there. But this plywood will be covered again with acid-free materials, no?
Gets ko na, Sir Loreto. Basically, parang meron tayong principle na pinapakita dyan. Pinoprotektahan natin yung artwork itself by putting barriers, multiple layers of barriers para yung mga insects at yung light at yung moisture hindi diretso sa artwork. So, may glassine tayo, meron tayong mga mat boxes, at saka meron tayo ng shelves. So, parang yung idea is to create as many barriers as we can na safe artwork.
Okay. So, again, Sir, we go now to the...
tatanong ko lang po yung mga mat board. Nabibili po ba yan ordinarily, nabibili po ba yan sa National Bookstore or sa mga frame shop po ba yan?
Yung depende, no? Kasi may mga tinatawag na regular mat board. Meron namang archival mat board. So meron mga exclusive suppliers nito na pwede naman makuhanan. Kaya lang medyo may kataasan ng presyo. Of course, kung binavalue mo rin yung prints or collection mo, mag-i-invest ka rin din sa archival. I mean, para ma-preserve siya mas mahabang panahon. So, we have several suppliers na pwede makuhanan. And then, siguro after this, we can send you a list ng suppliers na yung mga nagtatanong kung saan makakakuha ng archival mat board, kung saan makakakuha ng, let's say, tissue, yung mga cozy paper. We can provide you a list. We will send it to you and then may papadala nyo rin sa inyong viewers.
Nako, thank you, Sir Mar. So dun sa mga interested, ipadala nyo lang sa amin yung email nyo kahit dito na lang muna sa Fundación Sanso. Iipunin namin, ipapadala namin kay Sir Mar. At si Sir Mar at si Sir Loreto ay mag-share ng kanilang suppliers. Malaking bagay po yan. Maraming salamat po, Sir Mar at Sir Loreto. So, ganun din po kasi may question po tayo dito kung saan daw po nakakabili ng kozo at ng mulberry paper. So, isasama na po iyan ni Sir Mar at ni Sir Loreto doon sa email. Ayun. May tanong po dito. Sir Mar, Sir Loreto, para sa inyong dalawa ito. Galing to kay Chris Barbajo. Kailan daw po ba dapat pinapa-conserve ang isang libro? Kung dapat ba 50 years old na o may iba pang batayan?
Sa akin, sa amin dito, no? It doesn't necessarily na 15 years old. Kasi kahit ginawa mo yung libro after a year or 2 years ago, tapos nasira na, tapos kailangan niya i-conserve, so talagang kailangan mo siya i-conserve. But may mga factors Let's say for example, bakit ka magpapa-conserve na medyo gagastos ka ng kamahalan kung makakakuha ka pa ng, let's say, isang libro? Unlike kung documents, valuable documents na nag-iisa lang. So yun yung magiging batayan so far.
Tama naman po. Practical lang, no? Sir Loreto, may gusto po kayong idagdag?
Pagpatuloy ko, lastly na lang yung kanina, no?
Sige po, sige po,
So,
sige po. Tuloy niyo lang po.
yung may shelf ka na, tapos may mga box ka na, hindi, that's not the end of it, no? So ngayon, ang isipin mo, saan mo ilalagay ito? Halimbawa, sa studio mo, sa room mo, o kaya doon sa storage room. Ito na ngayon ang problema sa amin ngayon at sa mga prevention is your room. It is especially humidity. Yan ang kalaban natin, humidity. Yan, number 1 yan dito sa Pilipinas, no? So, you have to guard yourself to humidity because even if your the paper you use is maganda, our boxes are maganda, but this humidity, papasok yan sa loob ng mga, yung temperature na yon, lalabas yan yung mga faxing at saka mga stain. So, you have to be very careful sa room na lalagay mo. Dapat humid, controlled ang environment. And then light also. Doon na ito sa lights, kung naka-display ang iyong mga, naka-frame ang iyong mga prints or artworks. And then, the last that we need is the pollutants and dust. Yan. So, alagaan mo yan, not only enclosure, but also the environment. Okay. That's it.
Ayun. Thank you, Sir Loreto. Pasensya na po kanina. May tanong po
Sige, okay.
tayo kay Anata Lilo. Ang tinatanong niya po, paano po daw ba ang tamang pag-store ng libro sa isang bahay? Meron po ba kayong re-recommend? Dapat po ba nakatayo, nakahiga, nakalagay sa loob ng plastic na kahon? O ano po bang tama?
Well, first is ilalagay mo siya dun sa hindi nga mataas yung humidity. Meaning, yung moisture sa hangin, huwag siya doon sa lugar na yun. Napapansin mo yan sa bahay mo. For example, kung ang libro mo is nung nakatayo, straight na straight siya. And then later, napapansin mo, nag-wavy siya. So, ibig sabihin, mataas ang humidity, which is hindi sa shelf doon. So, yung plastic naman, nakakatulong siya. Pero hindi basta plastic din kasi may nabibili sa National Bookstore na yung rolled plastic. It's not advisable kasi pag naiinitan yon, nagsushrink yon. Mapapansin niyo yun kung may mga nagbabalot ng libro, yung cover ng libro ninyo, nag-wave na siya. So, mas maganda yung may tinatawag kaming food grade plastic or yung PP plastic na ipapasok mo dun sa loob, isisealed mo. So, magiging free siya from any soot, dust, or insect invasion. So, kung kailangan mo, pwede mo lang tagalin. Kung hindi naman din, ibabalik mo lang. So, mas safe siya doon if ever merong ding, let's say may tulo, may leak yung dingding or yung bubong. So, hindi siya mababasa.
Ayun. At following to that, may nagtatanong po, ano po ba ang stand ninyo sa plastic cover sa libro? Maganda po ba ito o hindi maganda?
Okay, plastic covering is okay naman, no, yung mga PBA plastic. But in time, magpapalit kayo niyan, palitan nyo para din sa mga collection ng mga prints ninyo, no? Huwag niyong itatago yan tapos doon na. Huwag kalimutan niyo na. No, that's not the proper, no. From time to time bubuksan niyo yung mga prints ninyo. Katulad din sa books, kailangan din yung buklatin yung mga books ninyo. Hindi niyo nilagay niyo na doon, kalimutan niyo na. No, you have to check it. Okay.
Actually, agree rin po ako sa inyo, Sir Loreto. May kilala po ako, pamilya po siya ng artist. At minating na nila yung mga drawings ng artist. So, nakalagay sa mating, tapos binalot nila ng plastic cover. Tapos inilagay nila sa isang safe na kwarto. After 5 years, nag-foxing. Ang foxing po yung kulay brown. Tapos sabi nila, basta nabalot na, walang alikabok, walang ipis, okay na yun pala. Dapat sinisilip natin every so often.
That's the problem, yung humidity. Yung humidity hindi niya siguro napapansin.
Oo. Ang humidity po ay yung tubig sa hangin. Moisture. So, pagka masyadong moist, halimbawa, example lang po ito para lang maintindihan ng mga viewers natin, pag nilabas nyo yung soft drink nyo galing sa refrigerator, mapapansin nyo, nagtutubig yun. Yung tubig na yun hindi galing sa loob ng bote, galing yan sa hangin. Yun ang tinatawag natin na humidity. Ayan, at pwedeng makaamag sa mga papel to dahil hinihigop yung papel, humidity, yung moisture. Ayan, may question po tayo kay Alvin Villaruel. Sinabi niya po na kung wala po bang glasin, pwede raw po bang plastic ang i-substitute?
Well, para sa amin, hindi eh. Kasi unang-una, yung glasin kasi meron siyang certain thickness. So, depende sa paggagamitan mo. For example, no, kung gagawin mo siyang interleaving, hindi advisable na makapal, especially pag sa libro. So, mangyayari yung libro kakapal. Pero kung sa prints siya, okay siya kasi loose yung prints eh. Pwede mo siyang pagpatung-patungin. Mas maganda yung medyo mas mataas, mas makapal yung klase niya. Iba kasi yung components ng glasin, iba rin yung components ng plastic.
Tama, tama. Sir Loreto, may dadagdag po kayo?
Yun na, tama na.
Si
Basta,
Miss Marie.
basta
Sige po.
acid-free. Basta acid-free. Number 1 yan, acid-free unarchival. Yun yung acid-free materials. Huwag kayong gagamit ng mga acidic. We call that, no? Pag yung tawag nun kasi yung galing doon sa mga materials na mga na gamit nyo sa mga protection, magkakaroon ng parang tawag na may acid migration. Ilipat yan sa artwork
Sir,
books ninyo.
Paano po ba malalaman kung acidic ang isang papel?
May ginagamit yan, ano? Ano bang tawag dito? May tester yan eh. Para sa pH
pH pen.
pH pen or pH strip. Pero yung very common yung pH pen. So, nabibili naman yan. I think meron yung nabibili sa online. I don't know kung meron na sa Lazada or sa Shopee. yun yung unang pinupuntahan. Usually kasi before, ang hirap hanapin talaga mag-order ka sa Amazon, something like that.
Nagtitinda po ba ang Ortigas Library ng PH pen?
Hindi. Wala pa kami sa ganun. Wala pa.
May question po si Miss Noreen Alfonso. Para sa inyong dalawa to, mauna kay Sir Mart as kay Sir Loreto. Ano raw po ba ang karakteristik ng isang tao na magre-restore ng sensitive materials? Parang gusto po ata ni Miss Noreen maging conservator.
Para sa akin, no, kailangan mahaba yung patience mo. Sobrang mahaba yung patience mo. Kasi madalas, gusto mo yung gantong outcome eh, pero hindi mo talaga magawa. You have to try it. Hindi lang isa, hindi lang dalawa, hindi lang tatlo. Sometimes limang beses. May mga instance kami na ginagawa namin yung isang item. Nung ginawa namin assessment, sabi namin, okay to for 1 month. We can fix this for 1 month. We can restore this for 1 month. Pero inaabot kami ng kalahating taon. And you have to have that patience. Kasi kung minsan, nawawala ka na sa focus. Kung yun ang ginagawa mo araw-araw, stressful ka. So, kailangan gagawa ka ng iba. Hayaan mo muna siya sa tabi. And then biglang, suddenly, ito, bakit hindi ko gawin tong technique na to? Baka maging okay to. So, ganon.
Okay. Tukol naman kung siya po ay gustong pumasok dito sa conservation, there is no course offered in the Philippines, no? It's the nearest school is in Australia. So, tapos lalabas na sa UK and the US. Anyway, no, even in Australia, the requirements is not library science, chemist, or anything like that. Any course would be possible, but you should have a basic knowledge on chemistry. Yan. Tapos, mas maganda pa kung mahilig ka sa art, you're an artist, and then art history. That's a good advantage also. And then, yun. Add to that, yung sinabi ni Mark, okay na, tuloy-tuloy ka na.
May mag-o-offer po ba ang Ortigas Foundation ng courses sa conservation in the future?
Only we do before workshop basic lang, no? Parang the feel of it, no? Pero yung the critical part na medyo mahirap na yun, matagal-tagal na yun. Kasi hindi yun nakukuha sa our conservator friends here, hindi nakukuha ng isang gabi lang. Ito yung nakukuha ng parang 1 year, 2 years. Parang piloto rin ito eh. Pag piloto ay madali lang, baka bumagsak yung eroplano mo. Ganun din sa conservation. 8 years.
Malaking bagay po yung yung experience doon. So yung critical na framework, yung knowledge nyo at your skills, plus the experience na makilala nyo talaga yung materials at yung conditions ng kinalalagyan ng material na yon. Na may
Yes.
kinalaman sa last question kung itatanong for each of you. Galing to kay Victoria Venson. What is the most challenging item, whether book or print, that you have restored before? And in terms of cost and time spent in restoring, pwede niyo po bang kaming kwentuhan? Sir Loreto, kayo na muna. Tapos si Sir Mar pagkatapos.
Ang kagandahan dito sa laboratory namin, as I said in our social media, in our website, is teamwork. Hindi lahat nagagawa mo. Kahit na kaya mong gawin, you have to tawag noon, ibigay mo sa mga kasama mo, delegate. So sa amin, ang pinakamahirap is ito ginagawa ngayon is to removing ang mga backing na materials like plywood na nakadikit dun sa artwork, lalo na pag malaki. Talagang nahihirapan sila doon. That's a very challenging one. Tapos until kailangan maingat ka rin dito dahil baka sugat mo yung ma-script mo yung artwork. So that's the thing naman, kailangan talaga you need skills to do that and strong hands. And then for me, I'm more on the restoration side, doon sa tinatawag na in painting, in retouching. Yan, nakita nyo dun sa video kanina, yung Nuestra Señora, that's the hardest one also kasi tingnan nyo at nakita nyo sa video pag ma-replay niyo yun is yung nawawalang mga images unti-unti naming na drawing yan. Hindi yan pwedeng yan i-xerox copy kasi talagang kailangan manual talagang gamitin. So ang pinapasalamat namin as before noon ay mas madali na kaysa noon. Alam niyo kung bakit? This is the power of the internet. Minsan yung mga hindi namin nakikita, nakikita namin ngayon sa internet for reference. And then, yung isa naman na napaka-importante na meron ngayon is the digital camera. Pag noon, pag film, wala na. Mahal nang mag-restore kasi develop mo pa. So, the digital camera is the best tool now na nangyayari. So, medyo madaling-madali na.
Okay. Ayun, ang laking tulong nung advances natin sa technology sa paggawa ng isang traditional na conservation. So, talagang laking bagay nga. Thank you, Sir Loreto. Sir Mark, kayo naman po.
Well, ito yung pinakamahirap so far sa akin na na-encounter is yung tatagong libro or magazine na ang edad is 1920s dahil sobrang brittle na. Noong mga panahon na napupunit, scotch tape. So halos lahat ng pages merong scotch tape. Naiintindihan na rin. Ngayon kami umiiyak pag merong dumadating kasi ang hirap magtanggal ng scotch tape. Kaya please lang, huwag kayong maglalagay ng scotch tape sa libro o kahit sa document. Please lang.
Ayun. Napakalaking bagay po yan. Sa ating mga librarians, archivists, at yung mga tao na nangongolekta ng mga documents, maps, prints, please, wag po nating lalagyan ng scotch tape, number 1. Wag po nating gagamitin yung mga paperclip na iron lang na nangangalawang, number 2. At wag po nating ira-rugby sa mga frames, number 3. Please, tatandaan po natin yan. Before po tayo mag-close, meron pa pong isang magandang katanungan si Ali Santana. Si Ali Santana ay isang collector ng libro at minsan nagpapadala rin siya ng mga libro sa ibang lugar. Sir, is it safe to use resealable plastics that you can easily buy in Shopee para sa storage ng libro?
Well, yung resealable kasi hindi namin alam kung ano ba siya, kung food grade siya. Kung food grade siya, okay. Kasi ang ginagamit namin is yung PP plastic, yung polypropylene. dahil food grade siya, ma-assure namin na hindi masisira yung libro.
Ayun. Ayun. Ayun, so tatandaan natin yung magic word, food grade. Kasi ang food grade, hindi basta-basta na degrade, hindi basta-basta malulusaw, at medyo mas safe. Hanggat maaari, yun ang target natin, food grade. Ayan, before po tayo mag-close, baka po merong ayun, sorry, last question pa po, may humabol pa. What should be used instead of scotch tape, please? Ano raw po ba ang dapat kung hindi scotch tape?
Kasi ang ano lang talaga is yung archival tape archival repair tape na nabibili online, yung Lineco. Yun lang so far yung aming na-advise. Pero other than that, hindi na maganda mag-recommend eh. Meron yung tinatawag na magic tape pero ganun pa rin acidic din siya. Yung 3M na magic tape, acidic pa rin siya. So mas maganda kung makakakuha kayo ng archival repair tape na ang brand is Lineco.
Ayun. So isasama din natin yan dun sa ating listahan ng supplies na i-email. Salamat po. Ay, may kinalaman po ito dyan sa tanong na yan. Yung po bang gaw-gaw na ginagawang paste, pwede po bang gamitin yan sa mga repair ng libro o masama yan?
Mabuti yan, mabuti.
Ayan. O yun. Kasi reversible ang paste na gawa sa gaw-gaw. Ayan, ginagamit niya ng mga Hapon. Ayan, okay. Ayan, ito po, Sir Loreto, bago tayo mag-close, baka meron po kayong mga gustong sabihin.
Ito, plus yun nga, pag sa prevention, you should have the good storage practice and also good handling. And then dito naman sa amin, ang principle sa amin is pagpunta kayo dito sa aming laboratory is we assist your artworks or books, no? But if we see that getting worse in a length of time, proceed, we will do that, no? And also some collectors requested something and then it's okay naman kasi minsan yung mga request nila ay hindi pwede. Pag hindi pwede, sasabihin naman namin. Pag pwede, go ahead, proceed. Yan. Yan ang advice namin. Okay?
Salamat, Sir Loreto. Sir Mar, kayo po. Meron po kayong...
Pag meron namang inquiry, tapos hindi sila sigurado, just send us an email and then we are happy to assist them.
Yes, that's true.
Kung halimbawa namang meron silang kailang materials na hindi nila alam kung saan masosource, we will also happy to help them. Kasi yun naman ang ating goal, no? We preserve. So lahat naman ng bawat tao may mahalagang bagay na pinakakaingat-ingatan, birth certificate, baptismal, something like that. So we will help you na mapahaba yung buhay niyo. And then, kung halimbawa naman na medyo masama na yung kondisyon, we suggest i-digitize nyo na. So, whatever happens, meron kayong backup.
Ayun. Thank you, Sir Mar at Sir Loreto, para sa isang very enriching afternoon. Thank you for sharing with us your practices at Ortigas Foundation and Library, and maybe our back end can show the address of Ortigas Foundation and Library for our viewers para makita ulit nila ito at pwede kayo mag-set ng appointments ninyo. Nasa Green Hills na sila, very accessible and very willing to help naman po sila. At napansin nyo naman, hindi sila masungit unlike yung iniisip natin sa mga librarians. So please give them a call if you have inquiries or questions. And thank you to Sir John Silva for allowing this talk to happen. And of course, thank you din sa ating viewers who joined us this afternoon from the start to the end. I hope you will also join us at 4 p.m. We have another talk which will be a roundtable of CCP, Ayala Museum, and Fundación Senso, and we will be talking about our print collection. In behalf of Limbag Kamay, the organizing committee, the Association of Pinoy Printmakers, and Cartelino, nagpapasalamat po kami sa inyo at magandang hapon. See you at 4 p.m.
Salamat din po.